This is our quadrant method practice. For this practice, we are going to be working on drawing a rose. So you're going to need to grab this sheet, grab a pencil, and then some scratch paper to use to cover up the quadrants. So first I'm going to start by covering up everything but a square. You don't have to do it this way, but I encourage you to start this way. And then what you're going to do is start sighting some of the edges. So you can see I'm kind of measuring how far away with my pencil that edge is of the rose from the edge of the box. Now since the rose and the quadrant, they're the same size, we're not scaling up, we're just doing sight size. I can do this like just directly. And then once I start sighting some edges, I'm just going to start replicating those lines exactly as I see them. Then I'm going to make some more landmarks. And this takes time. Do not rush through this. You want it to be as accurate as possible, which means you need your full concentration on this. So as I go along, I'm really focusing on the shapes that I see and then the distance. So where do these lines start and stop along this grid? And I'm drawing a little bit darker than I normally would because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. But normally I would have a much lighter hand when I'm doing this, and then only make it darker when I'm certain that my line is where I want it. And don't be afraid to erase or draw over some lines that are not correct. Again, this is going to take a lot of time to get right, and you need your full focus on this. And if you've never done this before, this is going to take time. But you need to get your mind into that flow state where you're just really observing and studying and measuring and going back and forth between these modes of thinking. So you can see I'm adjusting because I notice that's a little bit off. And then I just keep going. Alright, so I'm going to speed the video up a little bit so I do not draw this fast. But keep in mind this video is about 9 minutes long, sped up, and how long it took me to draw this rose accurately. So I'm covering up the next quadrant. I'm sighting. I'm using my pencil. Make sure where I start my lines is accurate, because if I don't measure it, it's not going to be right. So you got to take the time and measure. Measure, measure, measure. Sight, sight, sight. And then you'll see as I go along, I will cover up the next quadrant and then the next one. And then sometimes I will lift up the paper to make sure my lines are matching. So from the bottom to the top, from the side to the side. Just to make sure I'm starting in the right spot, making sure I'm double checking for my accuracy. So I'm finishing up my rows. I'm going to darken some lines. If you take a sharp pencil, kind of darken some lines, erase any extra lines. Once you are finished, kind of check your rows for accuracy. Try to fix anything that you think might need to be fixed. And then please let me see it so I can give you some feedback. And then we'll move on to some more quadrant drawing practice. So good job. I look forward to seeing your drawings.